You are listening to a cassette recording of a channeling session from the Raw Contact, a series of 106 sessions that were conducted between 1981 and 1984, using a form of tuned trance telepathy. Throughout these sessions, a group of entities identified as Ra shared information regarding the Law of One, spiritual evolution, and a variety of esoteric topics through a series of questions and answers. The full text transcript of these recorded sessions can be read for free at lnlresearch.org, where you can also learn more about this audio and its origins. This recording is intended for personal study and is not available for commercial use. Please contact LNL Research if you wish to use this audio in any other way. Rock number 59, June 25th, 1981.
I greet you in the love and in the light of the One Infinite Creator. We communicate now.
Could you first tell me the instrument's condition and why she feels so tired?
I am Ra. And this instrument's condition is as previously stated. We cannot infringe upon your free will by discussing the latter query.
Would it be any greater protection for the instrument if Jim changed his sitting position to the other side of the bed?
I am Ra. No.
A question from Jim that states, I think I have penetrated the mystery of my lifelong anger and making mistakes. I think I've always been aware subconsciously of my abilities to master new learnings, but my desire to successfully complete my mission on Earth has been energized by the Orion group into irrational and destructive anger when I fail. Would you comment on this observation?
I am Ra. We would suggest that as this entity is aware of its position as a wanderer, it may also consider what pre-incarnative decisions it undertook to make regarding the personal or self-oriented portion of the choosing to be here at this particular time, space. this entity is aware, as stated, that it has great potential. But potential for what? This is the pre-incarnative question. The work of sixth density is to unify wisdom and compassion. This entity abounds in wisdom, the compassion. It is desirous of a balancing, has as its antithesis lack of compassion. In the more conscious being, this expresses or manifests itself as lack of a compassion for self. We feel this is the sum of suggested concepts for thought which we may offer at this time without infringement.
At the end of the second major cycle, there were a few 100,000 people incarnate on Earth. There are over 4 billion incarnate today. Were the extra, the over 4 billion people who are incarnate today, were they in the Earth planes but not incarnate at that time, or did they come in from elsewhere during the last 25,000 year cycle?
I am Ra. There were 3 basic divisions of origin of these entities. Firstly and primarily, those of the planetary sphere you call Maldek, having become able to take up third density once again, were gradually loosed from self-imposed limitations of form. Secondly, there were those of other third density entrants or neophytes whose vibratory patterns matched the Terran experiential nexus. These then filtered in through incarnative processes. Thirdly, in the past approximate 200 of your years, you have experienced much visiting of the wanderers. It may be noted that all possible opportunities for incarnation are being taken at this time due to your harvesting process and the opportunities which this offers.
And just to clarify that, could you tell me approximately how many total mind-body spirit complexes were transferred to Earth at the beginning of this past 75,000 year period?
I am Ra. The transfer, as you call it, has been gradual. Over 2 billion souls are those of Maldek, which have successfully made the transition. Approximately 1.9 billion souls have, from many portions of the creation, entered into this experience at various times. The remainder are those who have experienced the first 2 cycles upon this sphere, or who have come in at some point as wanderers. Some wanderers having been in this sphere for many thousands of your years, others having come far more recently.
Trying to understand the three spirals of light in pyramid shape. I'd like to question on each. The first spiral, which I think starts below the Queen's chamber and ends in the Queen's chamber. Is that correct?
I am Ra. This is incorrect. The first notion of upward spiraling light is as that of the scoop. The light energy being scooped in through the attraction of the pyramid shape through the bottom or base. Thus, the first configuration is a semi-spiral.
Would this be similar to the vortex you get when you release the water from a bathtub?
I am Ra. This is correct, except that in the case of this action, the cause is gravitic, whereas in the case of the pyramid, the vortex is that of upward spiraling light being attracted by the electromagnetic fields engendered by the shape of the pyramid.
Then the first spiral after this semi-spiral is the spiral used for study and healing. Relative to the Queen's chamber position, where does this first spiral begin and end?
I am Ra. The spiral which is used for study and healing begins at or slightly below the Queen's chamber position, depending upon your earth and cosmic rhythms. It moves through the King's chamber position in a sharply delineated form and ends at the point whereby the top approximate third of the pyramid may be seen to be intensifying the energy.
Now, the first spiral is obviously different somehow than the second and third spiral, since they're used for, or they have different uses and different properties. The second spiral then starts at the end of the first spiral and goes up, I assume, to the apex of the pyramid. Is that correct?
I am Ra. This is partially correct. The large spiral is drawn into the vortex of the apex of the pyramid. However, some light energy, which is of the more intense nature of the red, shall we say, end of the spectrum, is spiraled once again, causing an enormous strengthening and focusing of energy, which is then of use for building.
And then the third spiral radiates from the top of the pyramid. Is this correct?
I am Ra. The third complete spiral does so. This is correct. It is well to reckon with the foundation semi-spiral, which supplies the prana for all that may be affected by the three following upward spirals of light.
Now I'm trying to understand what happens in this process to, well, I'll call the first semi-spiral zero position, and the other three spirals, 1, 2, and 3. The first spiral being study and healing. Why what change takes place in light from the zero position to into the first spiral that makes that first spiral available for healing and study?
I am Ra. The prana scooped in by the pyramid shape gains coherence of energetic direction. The term upward spiraling light is an indication not of your up and down concept, but an indication of the concept of that which reaches towards the source of love and light. Thus, all light or prana is upward spiraling, but its direction, as you understand this term, is unregimented and not useful for work.
Could I assume then that from all points in space, light radiates in our illusion outward in a 360-degree solid angle, and this scoop shape of the pyramid then creates the coherence to this radiation as a focusing mechanism? Is this correct?
I am Ra. This is precisely correct.
Then the first spiral has a different factor of cohesion, you might say, than the second. What is the difference between this first and second spiral?
I am Ra. As the light is funneled into what you term the zero position, it reaches the point of turning. This acts as a compression of the light, multiplying tremendously its coherence and organization.
Then is the coherence and organization multiplied once more at the start of the second spiral? Is it just a doubling effect or increasing effect?
I am Ra. This is difficult to discuss in your language. There is no doubling effect, but a transformation across boundaries of dimension, so that light which was working for those using it in a space-time, time-space configuration becomes light working in what you might consider an interdimensional time-space, space-time configuration. This causes an apparent diffusion and a weakness of the spiraling energy. However, in position 2, as you have called it, much work may be done interdimensionally.
In the Giza pyramid, there was no chamber at position 2. Do you ever make use of position 2 by putting a chamber in that position, say on other planets or in other pyramids?
I am Ra. This position is useful only to those whose abilities are such that they are capable of serving as conductors of this type of focused spiral. one would not wish to attempt to train third density entities in such disciplines.
Then the third spiral, radiating from the top of the pyramid, you say is used for energizing. Can you tell me what you mean by energizing?
I am Ra. The third spiral is extremely full of the positive effects of directed prana, and that which is placed over such a shape will receive shocks energizing the electromagnetic fields. This can be most stimulating in third density applications of mental and bodily configurations. However, if allowed to be in place overlong, such shocks may traumatize the entity.
Are there any other effects of the pyramid shape besides the spirals that we have just discussed?
I am Ra. There are several. However, their uses are limited. The use of the resonating chamber position is one which challenges the ability of an adept to face the self. This is one type of mental test which may be used. It is powerful and quite dangerous. The outer shell of the pyramid shape contains small vortices of light energy, which in the hands of capable crystallized beings are useful for various subtle workings upon the healing of invisible bodies affecting the physical body. Other of these places are those wherein perfect sleep may be obtained and age reversed. These characteristics are not important.
What position would be the age reversal position?
I am Ra, approximately 5 to 10 degrees above and below the Queen's chamber position in ovoid shapes on each face of the four-sided pyramid, extending into the solid shape approximately 1/4 of the way to the Queen's chamber position.
In other words, if I went just inside the wall of the pyramid 1/4 of the way, but still remained 3/4 of the way from the center, and at approximately the level above the base of the Queen's chamber, I would find that position.
I am Ra. This is approximately so. You must picture a double teardrop extending in both the plane of the pyramid face and in half towards the Queen's chamber, extending above and below it. You may see this as the position where the light has been scooped into the spiral and then is expanding again. This position is what you may call a prana vacuum.
Now, why would this reverse aging?
I am Ra. Aging is a function of the effects of various electromagnetic fields. There is no input or disturbance of the fields, nor is any activity within the electromagnetic field complex of the mind, body, spirit complex allowed full sway. The vacuum sucks any such disturbance away. Thus, the entity feels nothing and is suspended.
Is the pyramid shape that Jim has constructed in our yard functioning properly? Is it aligned properly and built properly?
I am Ra. It is built within good tolerances, though not perfect. However, its alignment should be as this resting place for a maximum efficacy.
Do you mean that one of the base sides should be aligned 20 degrees east of north?
I am Ra. That alignment would be efficacious.
Previously, you stated that one of the base sides should be aligned with magnetic north. Well, which is better, to align with magnetic north or to align at 20 degrees east of magnetic north?
I am Ra. This is at your discretion. The proper alignment for you of this sphere at this time is magnetic north. However, in your query, you asked specifically about a structure which has been used by specific entities whose energy vortices are more consonant with the, shall we say, true color green orientation. This would be the 20 degrees east of north. There are advantages to each orientation. The effect is stronger at magnetic north and can be felt more clearly. The energy, though weak, coming from the now distant but soon to be paramount direction, is more helpful. The choice is yours. It is the choice between quantity and quality, or wide band and narrow band aid in meditation.
When the planetary axis realign, will they realign 20 degrees east of north to conform to the green vibration?
I am Ra. We fear this shall be the last question, as this entity rapidly increases its distortion towards what you call pain of the body complex. There is every indication that this will occur. We cannot speak of certainties, but are aware that the grosser or less dense materials will be pulled into conformation with the denser and lighter energies, which give your logos its proceedings through the realms of experience. May we answer any brief queries at this time?
Only if there's anything we can do to make the instrument more comfortable or improve the contact.
I am Ra. All is well. we are aware that you experience difficulties at this time, but they are not due to your lack of conscientiousness or dedication. I am Ra. I leave you in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one infinite Creator. Adonai.
Power. Power. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.